There's a stereotype about highly intelligent people. It's called the tortured genius. We casually assume that high intelligence guarantees chronic depression and endless suffering. But what if the pain of a racing mind has nothing to do with the intellect itself? Let us clear up the biggest myth right now. The evidence simply does not support the idea that smart people are doomed to suffer. Being highly intelligent does not automatically make someone mentally suffer. Huge studies of health data show the exact opposite. Highly intelligent people are not universally more likely to have mental health disorders. Instead of being a curse, intelligence can actually protect you. It gives you sharp tools to solve complex problems and adapt quickly. Far from being universally broken, some highly intelligent groups actually do much better. They show less general anxiety, fewer symptoms of trauma, and lower levels of neuroticism. They also experience significantly less social isolation. High intelligence is not a psychological diagnosis. It is just a capacity. Whether it becomes a gift or a burden depends almost entirely on the environment around you. If you have spent your life feeling like an outlier, listen closely. A smart person usually suffers less from being smart and more from a lack of goodness of fit. This is a core concept in psychology. It describes how well a person matches their surrounding environment. When your school does not match your fast speed of processing, you feel bored to tears. When your friendships lack your depth of questioning, you feel alienated. The struggle gets much worse when society slaps a label on you. Psychologists call this the labeling effect. Students who just test high in cognitive ability are usually fine, but those formally labeled as gifted often report worse psychological adjustment. This label makes a child feel fundamentally different. The gifted label often becomes a cage whispering a quiet expectation. It says you are supposed to be special, so you are not allowed to struggle. Many children are only identified as gifted when they are already having a hard time and enter counseling. The problem is usually not the intelligence itself. The problem is the painful mix of isolation and impossible expectations. Sometimes the deepest pain of intelligence is having nowhere to put what you know. This severe mismatch makes people think gifted individuals are naturally prone to mood disorders. The old stereotype says gifted people are usually anxious all the time. But big research studies looking at thousands of people simply do not agree. Highly intelligent individuals are not always more anxious or depressed than average people. It is definitely true that some highly intelligent people struggle deeply, but that does not mean intelligence itself causes the pain. Context is absolutely everything. Your age, school environment, and social fit completely change how you experience the world. The suffering is very real for some people, but science says we cannot turn that personal suffering into a universal rule. The more honest question is this: what specific conditions make an intelligent person struggle? One condition is the sheer volume of everyday reality. Some highly intelligent people do not just think more than others, they feel more. They react to the world with a startling, exhausting intensity. Psychologists call this the hyper-brain, hyper-body theory. This theory suggests that for people with very high intelligence, the mind runs incredibly fast, but the body and emotions also react deeply. This connects directly to another important framework called overexcitabilities. This concept means that some people respond to the world with unusual, vibrating intensity. Researchers often find that highly gifted children show multiple overexcitabilities, most commonly intellectual overexcitability and emotional overexcitability. Having an overexcitability is not a sickness. It simply means you experience life with the volume turned all the way up. For some highly intelligent people, the problem is not that they think too much. It is that everything arrives too loudly. Intensity by itself is not the enemy. Unchanneled intensity is the real danger. The crucial difference in mental well-being for highly gifted people is their ability to deal with these intensities. They have to find a way to safely channel that massive rush of energy. When that overwhelming energy gets a clear direction, it transforms into breathtaking creativity and sharp insight. But without that regulation, it inevitably turns inward. It spirals into crippling anxiety, endless rumination, and profound nervous system exhaustion. Highly intelligent people desperately need concrete tools for emotional regulation. They need meaningful challenges to sink their teeth into. The ultimate goal for a racing mind is never to shut it down. The goal is to learn exactly how to aim it. When that untamed mind is aimed entirely at the self, it frequently turns into perfectionism. Highly intelligent people often set incredibly high personal standards because they see what is truly possible. Setting high standards is not automatically unhealthy. Researchers look at perfectionism in two different ways. They look at perfectionistic strivings and perfectionistic concerns. Gifted students frequently show stronger perfectionistic strivings, meaning they have high personal goals. This is the healthy part, but they do not always show higher perfectionistic concerns. Perfectionistic concern is the deep fear of making mistakes. Unhealthy perfectionism tells you that if you don't do this perfectly, you are not enough. The real danger happens when intelligence becomes tied to your core identity. High standards are not the actual problem. The problem begins when your self-worth depends entirely on flawless performance. This paralyzing pressure often bumps right into another major struggle. That is having the ability and the drive to do many different things very well. Some highly intelligent people struggle profoundly because they simply have too many options in life. Because they are naturally good at so many things, picking one career feels like killing off all the other possible versions of themselves. They are paralyzed by the terrifying fear of wasting their vast potential. Sometimes the real curse is having enough talent to imagine far too many futures. This complex inner world often creates a very specific kind of isolation, existential loneliness. You can be highly intelligent and feel desperately lonely, not because there's nobody around you, but because so few people can actually meet you at your depth. Highly intelligent young adults often talk about a chronic lack of like-minded peers. Loneliness for a highly intelligent person is rarely the physical absence of people. Sometimes it is the agonizing absence of true mental companionship. This painful lack of mental companionship is often paired with a severe lack of real challenge. A poor educational fit can cause huge problems. When a bright child faces chronic underchallenge, it destroys their natural motivation and lowers their well-being. If a highly intelligent person is rarely challenged during their early years, they miss an incredibly important lesson. They never learn how to struggle well. Everything comes far too easily for them. Then one day, a genuine challenge finally arrives. When it does, they often panic. They assume that because they have to try hard, they must not be smart anymore. This under-challenge often looks bad from the outside. To the rest of the world, it looks like laziness, arrogance, or chronic avoidance. But underneath that tough armor, there is simply a mind starving for meaningful friction. If everything comes easily for too long, difficulty inevitably starts to feel like a complete failure of identity. So how do we finally reframe this heavy burden? The psychological struggle of highly intelligent people is not simply that they are too smart. High intelligence is not a mental illness, and it does not automatically cause a life of suffering. But imagine a fast, deeply intense, and highly curious mind growing up in an environment that simply does not fit it. In that space, intelligence quickly becomes isolating, perfectionistic, violently overstimulating, and emotionally exhausting. The profound struggle is never the intellect itself. The truth is that their mind desperately needs more depth, meaningful challenge, freedom to explore, emotional regulation, and a far greater sense of true belonging.